Alright, hello everybody. So, I am here with a new game called Demon Bluff. Now this is a social deduction game where you have cards and you have to figure out which one of them is lying, aka which one is evil. Now right here, there are 5 cards. 4 of them are telling the truth, 1 of them is lying. We have 4 cards right here, and then 1 card. So therefore, the minion would be the duplicate. There are 2 confessors here. One of them is lying, right? And they say, I am dizzy if they are evil or corrupted. Therefore, the one saying I am dizzy is the minion. Now I unlock the medium and the judge. The medium, learn a good character and its role. Judge, pick one character, learn if they're lying. Okay. Okay. There are no evils adjacent to me. I'm 1 away from the closest evil. So if we assume that this is true, and that these people are telling the truth, and this person's telling the truth, then this person would be lying, this person's telling the truth, right? So let's see, are you lying? They are lying. But if this person's lying, this person's telling the truth, then this person would be lying, and that's not possible because there's only one liar. So you have to be lying. Minion, die. Wretch, Empress. I register as a random evil minion to other characters. Empress. Learn 3 characters, only 1 is evil. I am 2 cards away from the closest evil, 1 evil adjacent to me. 7's good. That's what they're saying. 7 is a real judge. Let's see. If this person is lying, then these people would have to be lying. Can't be the case. So all 3 of them are telling the truth. Okay? All 3 of them are telling the truth. I don't know if the confessor can say I am good if they're lying, though. That's the part I'm not sure about. But, we can see if they're lying. There's 1 evil. Okay.
That is the result of His Majesty's government.
So if is in fact 1 evil adjacent to you, you're telling the truth, you're lying, you're good, and you're good, right? Let's see. Are you lying? They're lying.
Die.
Twin minion. So now I just get a second minion to be tortured by, and then a jester. Pick 3 characters, learn how many of them are evil. I'm 4 cards away from the closest evil. Not possible, because there'd have to be at least 1 more evil closer. You're lying. Okay, let's see this. So you would not consider yourself... Actually, you're saying that you speak the truth. What if you're lying as well? If this is true, then you're telling the truth. You're telling the truth. This person's telling the truth, actually, because 1, 2, bam, 1, bam. No, that wouldn't work. You'd have to be lying. Equidistant is same distance from me. Oh, wait, he's registering the wretch. So yes, you are telling the truth. 8 is a real gem crafter. You'd be telling the truth. Okay, let's see. This should say evil, evil, evil. There should be 3 evils. Yes. So then it'd be you, twin minion, minion. Alright. Bombardier and knight. I can't die. Lose if you execute me. Knight. Stab. Okay, you're safe. Number 1 is a real lover. 2 adjacent to me. 2 evils adjacent to me. If we assume that this is the truth, and you're lying, 1 is real. That's true. Closest is counterclockwise. I believe you're lying. Yeah, I think you're lying. Let's see. Liar, liar, liar. 1 evil. Okay. So if we choose to believe that... Okay, so then this doesn't make sense. If we say that this person's telling the truth, and that this really is the only evil, these people are both telling the truth. You're lying, and... No. Yes, you're lying, because you're saying 2. You're also lying. That works. Minion. Twin minion. Witch. You cannot reveal the last card. Ooh, that's bad for me. Scout. Learn how far a specific evil is to another close evil. Another closest evil. Yep, I have the witch in this game. Witch and twin minion. Hold on, there's 8, and I count 7. They're all different, so the duplicate... There's 2 lovers, so 1 of these is a liar. No evils adjacent to me, 2 evils adjacent to me. Okay, let's say that you are, in fact, telling the truth. Then you're a liar, and you're a liar. Then everyone else would have to be telling the truth. Is that possible? You're saying one is evil, which is impossible. So, two adjacents. No evil is adjacent to me. You're telling the truth. Then you'd have to be telling the truth, which doesn't work. You're lying, you're telling the truth. Because one of them has to be a lying piece of crap. There are two evils adjacent, right? One is evil. I don't understand. Screw it. You should be saying... Okay, you have to be lying, right? No, they're just both evil. 1, 2, or 4. So then you'd be telling the truth because there's only one now. 3 away from the closest. That's true. Closest is clockwise. That's 1, 2. True. Damn it. Okay. Well, I made a mistake. Who is this? Gemcrafter 6 is good. Great. Great. Add 1 fake outcast to the deck view. Wretch Bombardier, Twin Minion, and Ba. So the Bombardier is fake. Ba's conjuring the Bombardier from nothing. There's 8 things, there's 8 peoples here. 1 evil adjacent to me. Got it. So, if we pretend that, if we believe you, you're telling the truth. One of these people is lying. Now, this person's lying, right? They have to be. Which means this person's telling the truth. Are you lying? They speak the truth. What if you're also lying? No, because then this would be a true statement. But then if this is a true statement, then this would be a false statement. This is false. You two are safe. You're saying, oh yes, you're telling the truth. Because it is in fact 3, 4, or 6. You're telling the truth now. Given this scenario, you should be saying 0. There are 2 evils. Got it. So then you'd be lying in this scenario. 3 is a real confessor, you'd be telling the truth. They're equidistant, you'd be telling the truth in this scenario. Ba, Twin Minion. Slayer and Knitter. Slayer, pick 1 character. If evil picked, execute it. Knitter, learn how many evils are adjacent to each other. Alright, let's watch the second ascension take 50 minutes. A Bombardier and a Witch. 1 evil adjacent to me. I don't know who to pick yet. Evils are not adjacent. Yes, that's just a true statement. There's only 1. I don't know actually if that's how the syntax would work. Because if there's only 1, are all the evils adjacent to each other because they're on the same space? Or they're not adjacent because there's literally just not more than 1. I don't know how that works. One of them is evil. Let's say you're correct, and this guy's... Fuck it, I'm confirming you. You're lying. If you're telling the truth, then you're lying. You're innocent. Who's that? So then this would be, in theory, this should be a confessor saying, I am good. 1 is evil. Then this would be a true statement. However, if we assume that you are lying, and you're telling the truth, you'd be telling the truth, confessor. This would still be true. It's a 50-50 between you and you, I believe. No information I have would suggest any one way. Which? Confessor saying, I am good. I knew it. Poisoner and Bard. Okay. Okay, now 1 adjacent villager is corrupted. Bard. Learn how far I am from the closest corrupted character. Now, corruption. Corrupted characters lie and their ability doesn't work. They keep their alignment. So, a corrupted character is basically a lying character, except they're still good. So they're not evil, so I don't kill them. Poisoner is 1 card away from the closest evil. 1 is good. If we assume that this is true... No, okay, let's say that they're both lying, right? That you'd be lying about whatever. Then being 3 away from a corrupted character just can't work. Bam. Bad. Because the poisoner corrupts an adjacent villager. So if they're both telling the truth, which I find much more likely, you're lying or corrupted. You're lying or corrupted. Could be either. 1 away from the closest evil. Okay. Say, what if he's evil, you're corrupted, and you're telling the truth? Does this work? The poisoner is 1 away. You'd be lying. Let's see. Time to be executed. Couldn't kill. Are you lying? You're lying, though. Alright, new information's come out. If you're 1 away from the closest evil, you're telling the truth. You're lying, let's say. You're telling the truth, so you're telling the truth, right? If you're 3 away from a corrupted, that's not possible. You're lying. And who's the corrupted, then? Who the heck is corrupted? Because then you'd just be lying. You're saying that he's telling the truth, but you're saying he's lying. One of you three is lying. If you're telling the truth, if all of you three of you are safe,
At any rate, that is what we are.
then you're lying. If you're corrupted, you can't be corrupted. You'd have to be lying. What if you're corrupted? Then by who? Who are you being corrupted by? Are you lying? But then you'd be lying about this guy, and this guy would be lying, and then there'd be three liars, unless you're corrupted. But then there's two corrupteds, which doesn't make sense, given how this works. I really think you are corrupted or lying. I genuinely believe this. I don't know which is which. My brain hurty. Oh wait, what if you're corrupted? Because then you'd be telling the truth. What if you're corrupted? So in fact you're lying, and you're telling the truth, and you're telling the truth. Wait, but then how would you be corrupted? You'd have to be lying. If you can't be both lying, that's the problem. You can't be both lying, or both be telling the truth. It's one or the other, right? Because if you're both telling the truth, you're saying that, oh, he's not evil, but you're also saying he is evil. He kills evils, and he's saying he's lying. Oh god, okay. If he's corrupted, then you could both be telling the truth. Because he is lying, and he's not evil. Meaning you're telling the truth. You're lying because you're not three away. Poisoner, corrupted, you're lying, right? That's the only way I've found that works. No. Am I stupid? Because clearly I am. Fuck. Okay, I should have thought about that harder. So, he is in fact three away from a corrupted character. It's either you or you. If we say, you're corrupted, you're telling the truth. Your statement is true. He in fact could kill you because you're lying. He is lying. But then you'd be telling the truth. God damn it! What the hell? Okay, scrap that. You are corrupted. You are telling the truth. You in fact couldn't kill him because he was telling the truth. You are lying. Then who would be corrupting him though? I genuinely don't know. One of these two has to be corrupted. Okay, I'm gonna go through this again. You are corrupted. Who are you being corrupted by? The poisoner has to be adjacent. Is he the bombardier? He could be the bombardier. Poisoner would be here. This would be our poisoner. You'd be telling the truth, right? You're truthful. You would be telling the truth. What if you're lying and you're telling the truth? If you're telling the truth, then you really couldn't kill him. It has to be this way, if I'm believing this side. If I'm not, if I believe that you're telling the truth, you're corrupted. Okay, let's say this. Then this statement is true, this statement is true. You, in fact, could be killed because you're lying. But then you'd be telling the truth. And then you'd be, okay. So it seems that it's this way. If this guy, but the bombardier appeared in both situations. This guy was corrupted, but he was being corrupted. Okay, hold on. Hold on, I need to understand this. I might cut this out of the video. Alright, fine. Understood. Understood. I don't want to stab the knight just in case they're corrupted. If they're corrupted, what would happen? Would they die and would I lose health? That's what I'm assuming. There are two evils adjacent to me. Let's say I believe that. You're evil and you're evil. Done. But I'm 3 away from a corrupted character. One of these people is evil, that would be true. But he can't corrupt outcasts, I thought. Yeah, he can only outcast. So let's say you are corrupted. Bam, dead. Bam, dead. Fortune teller and oracle. Fortune teller. Pick 2 characters. Learn if any of them is evil. Oracle. Learn that 1 out of 2 characters is a specific minion role. Sick. Alright. Why do we have 2 judges? One of those judges is fake. One of those judges isn't real. Also, the bombardier isn't real. It's being added in by Ba. So one of you is lying. It'd be really funny if I said 1, investigate 8, and then 8, investigate 1. I don't know if that's the right word here, but yeah, no. Checking, whatever. You should say yes. Good. That was really to test you, honestly. Minion is 2 cards away from it. I am 1 card away from the closest evil. Let's say you're telling the truth. Let's say, I don't know, this guy is evil. Fuck it, this is really funny. They're both saying that they're lying. Awesome. So one of them is telling the truth and the other one's lying. That didn't help. I don't know why I did that. Get executed. You could not kill. Okay, if we believe you, right, then you were telling the truth, and you're lying. That would satisfy this. That would satisfy this. The evils, in fact, are not adjacent. The minion is 2 cards away. Okay, so if you are lying here, right, that works, right? Minion is 2 cards away from the closest evil. There's only 1 away. Wait, or does this count as 2 or 1? I don't know. I don't know. Does this count as 2 or 1? I'm just gonna start stabbing. Okay, so this does not count as 2 away. Got it. Or it does it.
Have you ever had a dream that you had?
It does count as 2 away. Hold on. You're telling the truth. You could not kill. There was 1 evil. You were 1 away from the closest evil. So, Oracle. When hovered over, you will see information like bluffs used by killed characters, info from previous days. What do you mean previous days? Or order in which cards were revealed. So this guy was telling the truth. The minion is 2 cards away. That would imply that this guy's evil. Or would it be this one's evil? I don't know anymore. If you're lying, right? Wait, do we have a poisoner or a ba? A ba. So, Slayer. He is lying. Let's say he is lying. Let's say that the evil counts as like 1, 2. Then he'd be saying, I could have killed him because he is lying. But that doesn't make sense because there is not 3, there is 2. What if you're telling the truth? You were lying. Well, you were just telling the truth. So what if you are lying? The evils are not adjacent. You are lying, but that's a truthful statement. So then who is it? Who is it? I don't understand this minion is 2 cards away from the closest evil thing. If we say you're lying, you are the minion. The evils are adjacent to each other. That doesn't make sense. Minion is 2 cards away from the closest evil. That means that the minion is not the closest evil. Right? What does this mean? Oh, wait. He's saying that this guy, is 2 cards away from the closest. That's not 2 cards. That is very clearly 3 or 4. I'm so confused right now. Minion is 2 cards away from the closest evil. You have to be telling the truth, right? Because you're dead. You have to be telling the truth. Not because you're dead, but you know what I mean. If we said that you were evil, you were a liar, that doesn't make sense. You have to be telling the truth. You do have to be telling the truth. Even if we assume that this is the closest evil, the minion is not 2 away. This would be 2 away, right? Or this one? Or would it be this one and this one? Either way, doesn't matter. You're telling the truth. If the evils are not adjacent to each other, you're telling the truth. If they are adjacent to each other, you're lying, but you can't be lying because the evil would have to be here, which doesn't make sense because there's not more than 2. You have to be telling the truth. That's what I'm getting at. So either you or you. I couldn't kill it. This guy is lying. He was telling the truth. I couldn't kill this guy. You have to be this guy, right? Because 2 away. Plague Dr. Alchemist. Got 7 characters here. 2 evils. So let's say, okay, this guy is evil. You're telling the truth. This one's evil. That means 3 is not good, not possible. You are evil. Or are you corrupted? Hold on, I have to count corruptions now. So, there are 2 evils, right? 3 is good because no, you'd have to be lying about 3 being good. Oh god. So what if you're corrupted and you're telling the truth rather than just straight up lying? You are lying, and these 2 are safe, right? Let's say that. Then the closest evil is counterclockwise, meaning that the evil has to be one of these 2. 4-5 is a minion. If we assume that you are lying and you are an evil, right? That satisfies this. This one would have to be like this. Now, if we say that you're corrupted, then we can throw this out the window. 4-5 is minion. You lie. You tell truth. There's only 1 pair. There's no pairs, so that's not possible. I'm just gonna stab you. Okay, confirmed, not corrupted. I can go for a legitimate question on you, or I can check you. I think checking is a better option here. This should say not corrupted. Not corrupted. That implies you're telling the truth here. Those are confirmed now, which means that you have to be corrupted or lying. If you're corrupted, maybe you're lying, because maybe, okay, if you're the minion, you're lying about 3 being good. 3's not good, 3's lying. This would be truthful. There's no pairs, though. You're lying. If you're lying straight up, and, I don't know, you're corrupted or something, you're lying, there's still no pair. 4-5 is no longer a minion. If they're both lying, this guy's corrupted. 4-5 being a minion works. There's 1 pair works. Minion. Not Gemcrafter. Gah. Safe. Evil. Safe. Throwing out everything. I didn't kill the witch though, so I have no idea what's going on over there. Unless there's a duplicate here, and that is the witch in there. Maybe the witch is in there. I don't know. You're saying 3 is good. 3 is good. The closest is counterclockwise. Therefore, counterclockwise is closer than this. There's 1, 2 in between. So there has to be either this one or then it has to be one of these two, right? To be closer. Otherwise, you'd say equidistant. So you're safe, and it's one of you. 4-5 being a minion would be false. 1 pair. There's no pairs though, unless you're corrupted. What if you're corrupted and you're evil? I don't know which one it is. It's a 50-50, honestly. It's a genuine 50-50. Because without additional information from this, I have no idea, right? Oh! Okay. Counselor. 1 villager becomes an outcast role. I sit next to an outcast. I lie in disguise. Doppelganger. Cool, I have 2 slayers. One of them is not like the other. I have a plague doctor, a wretch, therefore I believe the bombardier is fake. The bombardier is fake. So the counselor has to be you, or you. Pretty sure you would be good. Okay, so the counselor could be you, or you, right? How many are evil? You should, no, I don't know actually. So evil, not evil, not evil. Then you should say 1. Okay, you're telling the truth here. If you're evil, then I don't know if that actually did anything. I'm just gonna couldn't kill. 7 is a real slayer. I'm changing the code. Okay, so what if you're both lying? Then couldn't kill you. Then you are telling the truth. If you're both lying, then I'm gonna say you're telling the truth. 1 is evil. 2, 6, 4. Yes, because the wretch. That makes sense. If only 1 is evil. There is 1 evil. Boom, boom, boom. Are you lying? You are lying. But what if you're lying? And you're telling the truth? What if you're corrupted? You're not corrupted. The plague doctor says so. If this were true, then I think you're corrupted and you're... No, you see, if you're lying, you're corrupted, right? If you're corrupted, you're lying. I'm going to kill you. Fuck. I fucked up. I keep stabbing prematurely. You are telling the truth. 7 was in fact lying. Die. You're the counselor. 7 is a real slayer. I believe you are corrupted. You're telling the truth. There's 1 evil. You are telling the truth. Closest evil is counterclockwise. I believe that is a lie. I couldn't kill 2. That is the truth. So it's a 50-50 between you and you. Which one is the ba? Which one is the ba? Is it you or is it you? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Can't get any hints from that. Damn it. Okay. Hold on. Maybe I can analyze this a little further. Gonna fucking go for it. Okay. I wouldn't have gotten that either way. That sucks. That's just awesome. I'm 3 cards away from a corrupted character. Who's on here? Counselor Ba. So I believe the bombardier is fake and the doppelganger is real. So I have no idea where the counselor is. He could be literally anywhere. I am 1 away from a corrupted character. You can't be corrupted. Only villagers can be corrupted. You're either good or lying. That's what I've come to believe. So I'm going to say, are you corrupted? Okay. If you're telling the truth, you are corrupted. And you're telling the truth. 1 is evil. Yeah, you would think that. You would think that. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. 5 is real. If we believe that these 2 are both lying, and you're telling the truth, and you're telling the truth. That would work. However, okay, 4 and 6 is a scenario that works out. If we say that you're lying, however, 7's not in fact corrupted, you're just a stinky liar, then you'd have to be lying. Or one of you's corrupted. Let's say you're corrupted. You're telling the truth, you're telling the truth. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna pick the 3 I suspect. 5 is a real lover. You would think that, yes, because they're corrupted. All the evidence points to this situation being better. Or does it? I don't know. I'm gonna pick my suspects. There are 3 evils. Okay, you're corrupted or lying. You're corrupted or lying. You simply cannot be telling the truth there. Let's assume you're lying. And you're lying. And you're telling the truth. And you're telling the truth. 4 and 6 was a combination from earlier, right? I'm 3 away from a corrupted character. Let's say you're corrupted, actually. This guy would work. This guy's lying. 7 is corrupt. You're lying. Boom, it doesn't work. However, if this guy's straight up lying, there can be 2 evils here and here. You are a real lover. You're not 3 away. You are lying. Bad. But if you're corrupted, this guy is telling the truth. Then this guy would be lying. This guy would be... Would he also be lying? No, you'd have to be telling the truth, right? Okay, scratch that. Boom, you're corrupted, you're lying. Then it would have to be this guy who's lying. My head is... I have no idea what's going on. But I know that you have to either be lying or... You have to be one of these 2. You have to be either corrupt or lying. If I go the corrupt route, then you're lying. There's only one corruption, right? Yeah, there's only one plague doctor. You're disguising yourself as a villager. Okay, wait, where's the duplicate? So one of the bards is the doppelganger. Don't think that helps me, though. I believe that you are the counselor, and I'm just gonna... Boom. Nice. Let's say that you're telling the truth. Okay. Let's say you're telling the truth. You're evil. You're not, in fact, 3 away from a corrupt. Who would be the corrupt? I'm 1 away from a corrupted character. You're telling the truth, let's say. And you're corrupted. And then you're telling the truth, you're telling the truth. Okay. So 6 is a real possibility, with 7 being corrupted. I'm going to analyze one more scenario. Okay? This is working. This is possible. Okay? That works. 6 evil, 7 bad. Okay? Now, if you're lying and you're telling the truth, then you would have to be lying. And I'm 1 away from a corrupted character would also be a lie. I believe it is like this. I believe it goes like that. Bah. Okay. Drunk and druid. Drunk. I disguise as a random not-in-play villager. I'm corrupted and I lie. I cannot be cured. Druid. Pick 3 characters. Learn 1 random outcast among them, if any. So the doppelganger's fake. Poisoner. Okay. And bah. We have 3 liars, up to 2. Well, it would be 2, because in order for him to not corrupt anyone, he'd have to be surrounded by 2 outcasts, which isn't possible. So there is 2 corruptions, and then 3 liars, which means only 4 people are telling the truth. I don't like that. There are 2 scouts. One could be a doppelganger, though. Actually, no. I established the doppelganger is fake. So one of them is lying. Hey, yo. There is 1 evil. That seems to be true. But what if one of you is just simply corrupted? No. One of the scouts has to be an evil. If one of the scouts were corrupted, that wouldn't make sense. 7's a real scout. Okay. Let's say you're lying, and he's lying, and this guy's telling the truth. Because there is 1 evil. Who's our 3rd demon? 1 is good? Well, you'd be telling the truth. What if... You can't be corrupted. What if you're evil and you're corrupted? No, because then you'd be telling the truth. Does not work. Okay. Let's say you're telling the truth. You're lying. You're telling the truth. 1's good, you're telling the truth. Ghost evil's counterclockwise. If you'd be telling the truth, you'd be telling the truth. No, you'd be lying, you'd be telling the truth. Or this way. I can't find the 3rd demon. I can't find you. This is what I know for sure. I don't know who's corrupt, so don't want to use his ability because I want to know who's corrupt. It can't be one of you. One of you has to be lying. Oh, what if the jester's lying and instead of there being one evil, there's two evils. You're both lying. Does that make sense? I don't know. But screw it. What if you're both lying? No, that doesn't make sense because then you'd have to be lying. And then there's 4. That doesn't make sense. What if you're corrupted? 9 is evil. Wait, what? 9 is evil. That doesn't make any sense. But then, like, you'd have to be lying. Okay. I've got it wrong. Or you're lying. I want to say this is a bait to bait me into killing the bombardier and killing myself, but I honestly have no goddamn clue. So, if you're telling the truth, if you're corrupted and this guy's evil, okay, let's pretend that this is true. Let's say it is so. Then that would no, because the clock, no. This guy wouldn't work. Hold on. Okay. This guy would be lying. And then, one other people. Okay. So, as a real scout, you're lying. Whatever, he's evil, he's good, you're telling the truth. Let's say this is the correct scenario. Poisoner, okay. Enlightened, nope. I fucking killed an innocent man. Okay, so, you're either corrupted or you're corrupted. But whatever it was, you're telling the truth. I've stabbed you 3 times already. You're telling the truth. The closest evil is counterclockwise. I think you're evil. You're just lying. You're straight up lying. That's what I believe. Minion. I just really wanted to do that. I'm sorry. That was probably a bad idea, but I really wanted to do it. 7's a real scout. You're probably the corrupted. Poisoner is 3 cards away from the closest evil. If you're saying this is the closest evil, then 1, 2, 3. I think that would make sense. I don't think it's 3 in between. I think it means, doesn't mean blank, the amount of cards between. You're telling the truth. Is it the bombardier? Okay, what if, no, you have to be telling the truth. It's the bombardier. Fuck. What? So, I have a witch in here. Looking for duplicates? No duplicates found. Bombardier could be. Ba could be. I think Ba is manifesting the bombardier. This is not a bombardier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. That means this guy is a duplicate. But of a duplicate of who? I don't know. 5 is a real jester. Let's say you're both lying. Okay? You're both lying. Then what? You'd be telling the truth, I guess? Or is a minion. But you'd be thinking that this guy's also a minion, so I don't know. There's so many things I don't know about that I don't know about this, how the mechanics work. 1 out of the 2 characters. Okay, so if both of them are then, right? There's a minion and a Ba. So if this is a minion and this is a Ba, I would just see minion. Or Ba. I think you're telling the truth. Or they could both be showing up as minions. Who knows? One of them is evil. Yes. Why'd I click the wretch? Stupid. You speak the truth. Evil. There are 2 evils among them. If you're telling the truth. Wait, are there any corruptions this game? There are no corruptions this game. So, if you are telling the truth, this is guy, you wouldn't be talking about this person being evil, right? Because they're literally defending you. So it'd be, you're evil and you're evil. The evils are not adjacent. They are, in fact, adjacent because you're telling the truth if you're telling the truth. Do I stab you? Oh, that was a minion. This one's evil, right? Ba, and then witch. Alright. Okay, Puka. Villagers adjacent to me are corrupted if possible. Okay. Okay. So, there's a witch, and there's a Puka. So that means that there could be 1, 2, 3, 5 liars in this. So the Puka could be having 2. The Plague Doctor automatically makes 1. Stab. Nope. So evil is counterclockwise, he says. One of you is evil. Evils are not adjacent, you say. Are you corrupt? Are you corrupt? Ooh, you're claiming that he's corrupt. Evil check, evil check. This should say 0. 1 evil. Ooh! This guy could be lying. But you could be lying. So, if we choose to believe that 8 is evil, then this guy would in fact be lying. I don't know why I said it like that. Oh, wait, I can check. Speaks the truth. What if you're corrupted? No, wait, he's checking for lying. What if you're corrupted? 1 is evil? That doesn't work. You're evil! Or corrupted. Evils are not adjacent. They are not adjacent. I don't think this works, like, at all. I don't know what I'm thinking. Fuck it. Why not? Ah, shit. He was a corrupted. That's interesting. He claimed he was not corrupted, but I think he clearly is corrupted. I believe. You are not corrupted because you are evil. And you are telling the truth. 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 And you are evil. And they are not, in fact, adjacent to each other. But they might be. Die. Die, witch. So, this guy was telling the truth. Unless, what if he was lying because he is evil? And there's actually two. And what if you're corrupted? No, because then there's, okay, wait. Actually, you're truthful, there's now two. You're lying. Evils are not adjacent, you are truth. You are corrupted. I don't know. I don't think, because, like, I feel like, because then the evil one has to be the puka, right? What if you're lying, and you're corrupted? But then you'd be telling the truth, which doesn't make sense. Because if you are telling the truth, we know this. Truthful, liar, then you'd have to be corrupted. But then no. But what? But I'm confused. But what if instead you are corrupted and you are truthful? But then who would be evil? Are you evil? Are you corrupted? Are you? You can't be evil. You just simply can't. Oh wait, you wouldn't be corrupted because you're an outcast. Die! Okay, baker and architect. Oh, that's it for this time. My brain hurts.